Hello everybody, this is Valet Games. Thank you for joining me. I've been taking a bit of a break over the weekend. I took like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. But we're back in action. Could be playing a little bit more Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've really been liking this. Or shoot, yeah, that one. I was playing a little bit more in my free time, if you can't tell. So we're gonna play this. Pretty good weekend. Night of the Seven Kingdoms just wrapped up. I'm sad about that. But American Dad started same day, you know, so me and my girlfriend watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms and then stayed up. I found out you can do this too with the motion controls. That's really why I wanted to play this. Okay. I'll slap it back in the little game thing now. But yeah, so we watched Night of the Seven Kingdoms and then stayed up and finished up. What did we watch? Stayed up and then watched the new episode of American Dad, so pretty good. And we took the nieces, her nieces were over, so we took them out to my great aunts. That was pretty fun, looked at a bunch of crystals. Good weekend. How about these monkeys? Shouldn't listen in. Yeah, right. Oh, it's just telling me what to do every time I pick that. Okay. I know the drill. This is really one of the only games that's like, yeah, Mario Kart World is cool, but at the end of the day, it's still Mario Kart. For now, this is one of the only games still, other than Metroid Prime 4, which is why I got that, you know, feels like a new Nintendo game. Or feels like a new Switch 2 game. Like, a lot of this stuff is cool, but it's stuff we've had before. It's just cool because it's running on handheld now, you know? I'm still waiting for Nintendo to kinda rustle my jimmies with something. They're releasing Fire Red and Leaf Green for $20 as a separate purchase, which I have very conflicted feelings about, you know. That's why they sold us Nintendo Switch Online. The whole thing with Nintendo Switch Online was we're gonna put all the Game Boy games, well, not all, but we're gonna put most of the Game Boy Advance games and GameCube games and all that stuff on there, and that's why you're gonna buy it. Where, like, okay, this was expected to be coming, but the fact that it's not also on Nintendo Switch Online, it's just a separate purchase, that's the part that's like, okay, they're charging $20 for a game that you can emulate. Well, that's a whole nother argument entirely, the emulation thing. My thing is, like, you can't even go, hey, that's scummy what they're doing, without, you know, fanboy stepping in and go, what do you want them to do? Give the game away for free? No, but I don't want them to be shitty about it either. I don't understand why I'm not allowed to have that. Like, so much discourse online now is just everyone dumping on stuff. I don't like this, that's stupid, that's dumb. But the second you have a genuine opinion, hey, this is worrying for reason X, Y, and Z, and they've done this before and they've done that before, all of a sudden you're just somebody crying on the internet, you know? Like, and the internet's always been like that, it's always gonna be like that, but it's still frustrating. It's like, how come you get to bitch about anything you want all day long, but the second anyone else is like, hey, genuinely, here's my problems with this, they're the ones being a crybaby, just shitting on stuff? You know? I fear for us as a culture if we're going down that road. But the internet's always been like that. It's hard to tell in a bubble. Are these just the worst 10 most vocal people replying to me? Or does everyone just genuinely not want to discuss it, and it's either, you know, I'm buying it, fuck off, or don't buy it and kill yourself? Why is there no in between? Why is it, why can't I buy it, but be displeased about the price and about the fact that it's not on Nintendo Switch Online, and about, you know, the fact that Nintendo's been scummy about stuff like this before? And the fact that all the different language versions are separate copies of the game now. What? Since when? I don't know. I'm in the middle on it. I think a lot of people are on the middle on it. And my mistake was going to the internet to try to find, you know, other people in the middle on it. When I get people either mad at me that I bought it, or mad at me that, you know, I don't think you should buy it. Because I don't care if you buy it. It's not that I don't think you should buy it. I just think we should call Nintendo out on this. Like, if you just let them get away with it, they just do it more and more and more, you know? I don't want to be spending $40 for a Game Boy Advance game in the year 2030 because we let this slide, you know, 4 years ago. But it is one of those things that's like, it's gonna be nice to have on the Switch and not have to dig out the Game Boy Advance and dig out the copy and, you know. I'm gonna save up for Punch Power. And all that stuff. It's gonna be nice and convenient, you know. It's okay that they're charging a price for it to be convenient. I'm buying it because it's convenient. But at the same time, we can call them out on it and let them know, hey, we don't like this. It doesn't make you a hypocrite, that makes you a, if anything, I feel like that puts you in more of a place to judge it. Like, hey, I actually spent money on this thing. I actually care about this thing. I'm upset because of this. That's valid. You spent money on it. You're allowed to be upset. You know, I'm not just shitting on it. But even that, you know, Nintendo's one of those topics that people really get ride or die about. It's like, yeah, I buy the games and I like the games, but that doesn't mean I think they're a super shitty, scummy company. Still buying their games. But I'm not happy about it, you know? I'd like them to change, and they're not gonna change unless you're vocal about it. But, I don't know, people are at the point as a society where they don't even want to hear people being vocal. They just... If you have a problem, just shut up about it already. I don't know. I don't like that mentality, but I don't necessarily think it's widespread. I do think, me going to the internet for genuine conversation is like going to a strip club for meaningful connection, You're just gonna get a bunch of people there to, I don't know, take care of their own boredom. I don't know why people do it. Got it. The internet, it's not gonna change though. Just like the world's not gonna change, you're always gonna have people who are just trying to get reactions out of you. They tend to coagulate in certain spots on the internet. Where I do think we can get in little pockets and bubbles sometimes, where it's like you're just seeing all this stuff that, sometimes it's, I don't know the psychological word for it, I'm not that smart. I don't know, when you're like looking for it to happen and then it does happen, you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a bad day, and then someone posts a mean comment on your, post, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I knew I was gonna have a bad day, and the day's bad. I think we get a bit carried away with it. So I joined the discourse for about a day, and then I was like, I'll just talk about it on my YouTube. I still bought it. I'll be playing it. That'll be coming out at some point. And I'll have a lot more to say when I do. But for the moment, there's just this kind of this idea going around that's like, you can't criticize them. Just either let me buy it and shut up about it, or don't buy it. And it's like, that's not... You're truly defending $1 billion company like that no one can have problems with it and call them out? Criticism, I guess, is just one of those things where we've gotten to the point that, like, people forget constructive criticism is a thing. Or critiquing because you care, or because it's important to you, or everyone just assumes you're just shitting on this thing to shit on it, I think, is what's happening. Like, it's just first gut reaction, have to defend this thing, they're crapping on it. And it's like, no! And I'm not the first person who's remarked this. This has been, people have been having this problem on the internet and talked about this in much more succinct, better ways than I'm managing to. But it's like gone away from that to the point that's like, you can't even say anything. Just don't say anything. It's like, no, you're still allowed to say something. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's wrong. Like, say why you don't agree with it. And then I wonder, the age of the people commenting that. Because that is a maturity thing sometimes. Just being able to, I think this thing, and that person thinks that thing, and I'm gonna see why they think that thing, while also still thinking my own thing. People aren't very good at balancing two concepts or two beliefs at the same time, I don't think. Myself included, you know, I like believing what I believe, but I try to be mindful at least of, well, how's that other person get there? And that's not to say all the time. Like sometimes, you know, something's just bad. I don't need to understand how, you know, Stalin got to where he got. Um, but a lot of the time over stupid stuff, it's like, oh, that person's so rude, they were speeding. It's like, well, what if their wife's in labor? What if their kid had an accident? Like, we're very sensitive to what we perceive as small slights. Where I don't think, like, we're as reactive towards bigger, you know, towards things we should be more reactive towards. And maybe that's just due to the fact that we don't really have control over a lot of stuff, but, you know, it'll be like you're going through a divorce and you're having a meltdown because the guy in front of you is driving too slow in traffic. But that also, you know, put yourself in that person's shoes. Maybe that's why they're reacting like that. They're going through a divorce. I don't know. I'm not a sociologist, but like I said, my theory was the pandemic kind of caused that, where it was, you know, to keep ourselves safe, we have to stay away from other people. And if other people are, you know, not behaving the same or not doing this or not doing that, like, then it's gonna be a danger to us and the ones we love. So we kind of got this, like, not antisocial, but just anxiety-filled, kind of society at the time around socialization. Where it's like, oh, we all want to see each other, but we can't because it's dangerous, you know? And I think that kind of accidentally bled into the, you know, bled into us, where now it's just, we don't really think about other people, you know? They're inconveniencing me, not, oh, maybe they're inconvenienced already. But again, I'm not a sociologist, I'm not a politician, I'm not a clergyman, I'm just a guy playing games who remarks on stuff. He notices and sees what other people have to say about it. And on that note, I think this is where we'll wrap up our first episode of this, for this batch at least. So this has been Valet Games. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know the drill. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Any way you interact with the video or the channel helps me out. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I get some audio behind this. If not, I've got a CapCut for a month, so I'll throw some edits and music in behind it. But you guys know the drill. Catch you in the next one. Thanks.